Hey, welcome to this segment on the retirement crisis, causes and solutions. Well, we might as well start with some of the causes of this retirement crisis. It's not going to be a bucket of joy, but we're just going to throw it out there. So what's the first one? Workers are not saving enough for retirement. The second thing is that they're drawing down their nest egg too quickly. Pensions have become increasingly rare. There's problems with Social Security on the horizon as to the ability for Social Security to pay out and keep those incomes the same level. At the end of this decade, there's going to be 73 million people that are ages 65 and older. That's the baby boomers generation. People are living longer. Healthcare costs are rising rapidly. How are we going to pay for all of that stuff that they need? Markets obviously are in turmoil and can have a lot of volatility. They can be awesome, they can be terrible, but that fluctuation creates a lot of fear in people that are retiring. And then finally, I think the biggest crisis of all is that there's like an education gap. What happens is people, they want to have strong opinion, and sometimes people with strong opinion, low information are the most dangerous people. And when I watch retirees come in, they'll be listening to all the different information that they have available, and then they take all this data in and they might latch on to somebody that has a super strong opinion, but actually after you dig deep, they really don't have a lot of information. It might not be somebody that you want to trust. And so just finding somebody to trust, to educate you on your plan and your solutions, and being able to teach you to the point to where you can make a decision. That's when this job as a financial planner, financial advisor is done right, is when you can teach to the point of a decision, educate that far. So let's look at some solutions. Okay, the first one is that currently 40% of workers are not saving enough for retirement. I mean, that's obviously a large amount of workers. And so what the government is doing, and they're trying to pass some legislation, and they're really trying to make this a little bit more automatic on the saving side as people try to address this retirement crisis. So what they're doing through like maybe Secure Act and some different legislation is they're trying to make it easier for employers with 401k plans or 403b plans to auto-enroll their employees. They're also making it available to where they can auto-escalate their savings, like maybe on like a 2% increase each year, just set it and forget it kind of plan. They're also using these target date funds that say, hey, when do you think you're going to retire? This is what plan you're going to go into, and it's a kind of a set it and forget it kind of plan. But all of that is to try to save up these bigger nest eggs, so when people retire, they have some options. Simple IRAs is another smaller employer plan that could be available to help people save more. Okay, the next thing is the biggest fear is like running out of money, spending too much money. Well, the way to conquer that fear and avoid that is to figure out your withdrawal rate. Here's how simple the withdrawal rate can be. You have to do a little bit of homework on what you think your income is going to be in retirement, what you want to spend in retirement, and you take income minus spending, and that's what you're going to be taking from your nest egg. So let's say that you had $40,000 of contractual income, you want to spend $65,000, that means you have a $25,000 need income gap. Take that number, $25,000, divide it by your portfolio. That will be your withdrawal rate. So if you had $25,000 a year, you had a $500,000 portfolio, that would be a withdrawal rate of 5%. Whatever the withdrawal rate is, you should figure that out. That's a number that you want to know. The next thing would be for income and Social Security. The government has different deadlines as to when Social Security is not going to become solvent, and it might be a decade or less away. And so what they're working on are what are the potential solutions for that, because obviously as you get into retirement and you have this dependable contractual lifetime income, you want to know how much you can trust that, and if that were to be either level off or decrease, that's going to impact your spending and your withdrawal rate and compromise your retirement planning. And so there's a really cool website called the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. And what they do is they give you the ability to pick some different variables on what would make Social Security solvent, okay, and how it could, and how legislators could change just a couple policies and then make that a much more predictable payout, not only for the current baby boomers, but also the future generations. And then finally, just closing that income gap, that's something that we get to specialize in. And you know, we have a lot of tools here at Centennial Wealth where we can take your individualized numbers, we can put it into this program, we can boil it all the way down to one number, and it's the rate of return you would need to have in order to never run out of money. And it's incredible to be able to take all these different variables, boil it down to one little thing, and then say, okay, cool, that's gonna help me make a lot of decisions because I know what I need to do to make a plan that lasts. And if you're ever wondering or worried about something, please give us a call. That's why we're here. We love to educate. Have a great day.